I see a lot of people over 50 online, both men and women, talking about why they'll never date again. So I've decided to share with you my admittedly different perspective on the topic. Hi and welcome. I'm here to discuss the things that concern us in our 50s and 60s and later. My name is Bob, and I'm the crusty creator. We've all had good and bad relationships. Ones we wish hadn't ended, ones where the end was welcomed. We've dodged a bullet or two, but we've also had near-perfect relationships that didn't last for one reason or another. And those really do hurt when they end. When relationships fail, sometimes it's under extreme and traumatic circumstances. I fully understand that there are people who have suffered some significant trauma and emotional pain or abuse, and they don't want to live that again. Healing those wounds takes time, and sometimes they never heal. And other times, we just need to step back for a bit, take a few breaths, and pull ourselves together. That said, in the majority of cases, relationships fall apart because over time, we find that our values, our lifestyle, or our long-term goals don't align. Some folks have had enough of partners who don't listen or who nag. They're done with needing approval for purchases or activities, done with not having their own space or autonomy. They're done with having a partner who doesn't contribute, and they're done feeling like they're carrying all of the weight. Fair enough. But just because your last partner was like that doesn't mean the next person is going to be. And it doesn't mean that future partners should be punished for the actions of past ones. Those proponents of staying solo chant the mantras of protecting their peace and protecting their assets and wondering, what's my ROI? But a relationship shouldn't be thought of as a transactional or business type arrangement. What one or the other person gets out of it shouldn't be a consideration. What you should be concerned about is what you can create and build together. To me, those excuses are just cop-outs, and they come from fear and perhaps selfishness masquerading as reason. It's fear of commitment, fear of having to put in the time to build something, fear of another breakup, fear of someone not accepting who you are, fear of being hurt, fear of losing something, fear of being used, fear of attaching to someone who takes more value from your life than they bring to it. So before we go too far, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. It'd really help. There's also a link to buy me a coffee if you feel so inclined. Anyway, back to business. The fact is there are steps you can take to protect your assets. And you can protect yourself and your peace by being more discerning at the start and choosing more compatible partners. Don't jump in so fast. We're not hormonally crazed teenagers anymore. We don't need to rush into decisions. And hopefully, we don't let superficial things like money and looks alone determine our choices. The 666 and red pill movements also contribute some pretty unrealistic expectations and ridiculous talking points into the mix. But the followers of those mindsets out themselves pretty quickly as people most of us don't want to have anything to do with anyway. All of this negativity makes dating seem hopeless sometimes. People of a certain age have become jaded. They know what they don't want in their lives, and they're hyper-vigilant for red flags. They don't settle if they see even a glimpse of something that might maybe possibly remotely resemble the shadow of a problem. Words and actions get misunderstood, and things like that happen all the time. Navigating those things are a part of getting to know one another, but people are so much less tolerant and patient in these early stages now, and that's something detrimental to finding long-term happiness. Instead of working through those awkward early misunderstandings, they choose to bail out without even discussing it. That constant state of being on alert makes dating an unpleasant experience. They're so preoccupied with scanning for what they don't want that they don't notice the traits they do want. And they end up depriving themselves of the benefits of companionship, intimacy, and the knowledge that somebody has their back. My mom used to call that cutting off your nose to spite your face. So the whole mindset makes me scratch my head. I'm in my mid-60s, and I've had many, many wonderful relationships over the years. I've also had my heart broken more times than I care to count. I've lost money. I've been cheated on. I've been blindsided by breakups I didn't see coming. And I've rebuilt my life and finances from the ashes of a divorce. I've had days when I've bawled my eyes out, been angry, and I've felt lost. And yes, I became cautious. But with all of that, I have never had anything so catastrophic happen that it made me jaded enough to just want to give up on love and companionship altogether. I think it's sad when people do. When my past relationships have failed, I've tried to learn from them. Sometimes hard lessons, but I apply those lessons to the next relationship. The failure might or might not have been my fault, but I still looked at what role I might have played, as well as how I might have been wronged. And not once did those learned lessons hint in any way that I needed to seal myself off for the rest of my life. To me, refusing to learn and grow and instead simply adopting the attitude of, I won't change, is short-sighted. If your last relationship ended because your partner didn't like the amount of time you spent at the pub with your friends, then maybe it's time to review your priorities or to find a partner who is okay with you doing that. Either way, you have to change something in order to progress past there. Repeating the same behaviors and making the same choices, including the type of partner we choose, will lead us to the same conclusion over and over. It's like that old saying about insanity. So really, if you want a different outcome, you need to do something different. Please don't misconstrue that as victim blaming. I'm simply saying that we will never have a different outcome if we continue to choose partners with the same or similar traits and incompatibilities. The likelihood of reaching the same endpoint is much higher when we do. In the simplest terms, not everybody will be a good match for you. But by the same token, not everybody is going to be unsuitable either. Is there a risk involved in finding the right person? Yes. But nothing of value in life comes without risk, and too many people are afraid of putting in the work. I personally can't imagine spending the rest of my life without a partner to share it with, a confidant, a lover, a best friend. To do that, to me at least, is ludicrous. Leave a comment below, but as always, let's keep it civil and respectful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.